episode of Conversations with Lance. I'm your host, James Lampton, and my guest today is the owner of the Spizzy Smoothie Shop, Mr. Victorious Hall. Thank you for joining me.
My man, no problem. Appreciate you inviting me, man.
Man, first of all, it's an honor to be here. I'm looking around. This is a beautiful setting, man. Congratulations on your smoothie
Thank you,
shop.
man. Thank you.
So, why smoothies?
Oh man, that's a good question. So one, we know smoothies are for me. It's an easy way for people to engage in a healthy lifestyle, right? But two, more specifically, I'm a cyclist, right? And I used to ride my bike to smoothie shops. I've been riding bikes for a little over 14, 15 years now. And I used to ride to smoothie shops, and then I found out what these smoothie shops was putting in smoothies. And I realized that it wasn't healthy. It was, a lot of junk and syrup, and, it wasn't good for me. And that was the spark in my mind that made me want to open up a smoothie shop. It was my own experience. And then I realized that it would be a nice space and a nice opportunity to provide a healthy location for my people and my community, while at the same time, of course, employing my former students. Yeah.
Why was location important for you?
Oh yeah, PG County is it's PG County. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a county that raised me, and I think a lot of times it's just important that we always put life into it. You know what I mean? Coming up, I remember having to leave my community to go to particular spots or to go to particular restaurants or to experience particular things that I wanted to enjoy. And so for me, my county deserved that choice, right?
So you didn't even consider another county?
No. That's not even. I mean, as you probably can tell by the menu items, like everything about Prince George's County is embedded in the restaurant. Why? Everything on my menu is named after cities in PG County because, I want to serve my community. You know what I'm saying?
So that when you first thought about Spizzy, was that your vision? Did you visualize the menu, the location? Was that did you?
Yeah. So it came. Location was always there. Location, I knew I wanted to be in the county, right? Mm-hmm. But as it continued to evolve, my ideas just continued to flourish, and I just let my ideas kind of take over. Because I remember doing research on like how you should name smoothies, right? And people were like, you need to name them after the fruit, like Woody Berry and all this. And I was like, that's lame. I ain't like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, since I am serious about PG County, why not name it after, the cities where we reside?
You opened your first store in Camp Springs,
yeah,
right off of Allentown Road.
Yeah.
What was that your prime location?
Yeah. So it was, yes. I knew I wanted to be in a place where I was familiar with. That makes sense. I'm familiar with in my county, right? And a place where I was close to, right? I lived down the street, right? Because I knew I would be spending a lot of time in the store, right? So, and when I did the market research, there wasn't a lot of smoothie shops in a radius in which I wanted to open. So, it worked out perfectly.
A lot of times when people do market research, it's a lot of data, a lot of information that you got to process. Was that intimidating for you?
Yeah, everything about opening up a store was intimidating. Everything. Every single piece, part, aspect, yes. Yes. And I'm still intimidated, right? But I think that you work through it, you know what I mean? It's a lot. I've been an educator all my career, right? So I still don't know nothing about opening up a business or running a business. I literally been doing, so I always liken it to the idea, like you starting a new career and you 2 years into your career. I still don't know what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like you still trying to figure it out. And so, it's intimidating, but I think that the process is doing it anyway.
2 years in and you still don't feel like you know what you're doing?
Bruh. Business is about, I'm in a class right now. I'm in a business class right now. I'm taking a business class because, I want to learn as much as I can. And one of the topic of discussion my last class was being a business owner is nothing but solving problems. That's all it is. Like every day I wake up to a new problem. I got to figure out or solve, you know what I mean? Like it's every day. And then that's what it is. So yeah, very much so.
Because of that, does it ever make you question whether you did the right thing?
Nah. The reason why I never question whether or not I did the right thing is because I'm in here and I know what the feeling is. Like, you know, when I see elders come in here and buy smoothies, or real young people, like little kids, and they come in here and they like, and I know that the youngins who behind the counter are the youngins that I have been working with since they was 12, 13 years old, and they are running the store. Like, I know it ain't no mistakes. You know what I mean? Ain't no mistakes being made, because that was my whole intention. The intention is to provide a service in my hood. That's it. You know what I'm saying? If anything else comes from it, I'm grateful, right? If money comes, I'm grateful, but that's not my mission. You know what I'm saying? My mission is get the money to the kids, the youngins who I'm working with, and provide the healthy choice in my hood.
I want to go back to the beginning, because you mentioned PG County and it's ingrained in you. You grew up here. Why is PG County so important to you personally?
Man, PG County is, you know, I know that Charles County is supposed to have overtaken us as the wealthiest black county, but I'm still holding it. But, you know, there's no place in the country like Prince George's County, right? And we sometimes take it for granted, right? And it's something to be celebrated. Just like when you're in a certain place, like everybody know Brooklyn, right? Everybody know, you know, LA. Everybody know these places, right? Everybody should know PG County, right? Because, I mean, it raised me, man. I went to Suitland, like, I went to Drew Freeman. I grew up on Marlboro Pike and Pennsylvania Avenue. Like, bro, I had some beautiful people help to guide and lead me into the man that I am today. And that has happened for thousands, millions of young people, right? So it's something that should be celebrated. You know what I'm saying?
You mentioned you're in the education field, and unfortunately, being in PG County, we don't get the best reputation for education. For you, how does that make you feel?
It is important that we tell our own story. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I hear stuff or people say things about us or our county or like who we are, and I'm also a history teacher, right? So my history was my major in school, right? So there's a legacy of what we are experiencing, right? So I don't want to get too historical, right? But the ways in which we converse with one another, and the ways in which we see ourselves, and the way in which people see us, right? It's steeped in some real nuanced and deep psychological traumas, right, around things that we've experienced. So it's important that somebody with information reverses the idea of what that's supposed to be or do, right? Because I know how beautiful our people are. I've taught thousands of kids, right, from many different circumstances, situations, and they're beautiful, right? But I also think that comes with teachers being trained correctly, right, and understanding the nuances of what young people bring. But man, our county, man, our young people, man, are brilliant and beautiful if they led in the right direction. You
mentioned the training of teachers. Do you think the passion level is there? Because let's be honest, the pay is, it's okay.
Yeah,
but
it's okay.
Because let's look around us. You know, we know PG County is not cheap. I mean, let's be honest about it, it's not cheap. So, do you feel like that we need like a boost in the passion with teachers, or? So
yes, I think that anything that you do, you should be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, if it doesn't move you in a way that speaks to your soul, you should be doing something else. That's just my belief, right? And so when I'm training teachers and as a school leader, I've always told teachers that I'm like, the moment you feel like your passion is gone, you need to do something else, because you're not working a job where you're just pressing a button. You're working a job where you are dealing with the minds and souls of human beings, right? So you can't like decide to like, nah, like no, I don't really want to do this, but still show up every day, right? Because the young people feel it and see it. But yeah, pay is one thing, right? Pay is a thing, right? Survival and being able to survive is a thing. But we know that soul work is much more better than monetary work, right? And so I always say that money, you will be taken care of if you're doing God's work. And that's how I've always tried to live my life.
Okay. Let's transition back to Spizzy, because you talked about employing the youth. I just wanted you to elaborate more on that.
Yeah. So the first person I called when I signed my lease at Camp Springs. The first person I called was he was my 19-year-old mentee, right? But I've been mentoring him since he was 13. So he's the first person I called. I said, all right, this you. Like, you gonna, work alongside me, and we gonna build it together, right? And then, that's the goal, like the whole thing that I'm trying to do. Because I would be in schools and I would be talking to young people, and I would tell them, like, look, you get the information, you learn this stuff. You don't learn this stuff to leave your community. You learn this stuff to help build it, right? But I realized that I didn't have an institution to help. I'm just talking, right? So for me, it was like, you have something. If you build something, create something. Now here's the vehicle to create that opportunity. And so now Spizzy is, now the youngins that I menteed are now mentoring high school students, right? Through Spizzy, right? And so that's my mission. Like, I got 22, 23-year-old youngins working with 16, 17-year-old youngins and showing them the way. Like, bruh, like, it's the most magical experience, right? So education hasn't, my education, me working with young people hasn't changed, it's just shifted to some degree.
Because you're a mentor now, did you have mentors coming out?
Yeah, Mr. Robinson was one of them. Mr. Robinson from, I always mention him. He was the guy who got me into history. He was the dude, the reason why I'm married to my wife. Like, he's the dude. But it wasn't just him and Mr. Edmonds. It's young dudes in my neighborhood who was like, young, do this instead of this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I have mentors all over the place. Man.
Do you feel like we as black men are doing that enough?
We can never be doing it enough.
Okay.
We can never be doing it enough. Are we doing it? Yes. But do I believe that there are other opportunities for us to be great and for us to pour into young people? Yeah. And for us to pour into one another. Yeah, we can definitely be doing a lot more.
I know this is gonna sound basic, but you mentioned soul work. I want you to tell the listeners and the people watching what your definition of soul work is.
Yeah, soul work is this idea of something that is connected to yourself and the creator, right? And I think that raising up young people is something that is directly connected to what we're supposed to do as human beings, right? Raise our offspring, right? And being part of a collective community. So when I say soul work, I'm saying this idea of like being connected to something that is real and not something that you are just doing to make money, right? And so because money doesn't do anything, it literally is a figment of our imagination, and it's always been historically, right? In particular systems, it is geared and created more importance than other systems, right? And so in this system that we live in America, it seems to be a very huge deal. We make it a very big deal, which is why we see so much we see so many things that are not necessarily in balance, right? But and I'm not a hippie dude, right? I'm not this dude that like money doesn't matter, but I am in a conversation that we have to be careful when we put it first, when we put it in front of the things that are most important to us.
Just sitting with you, I could feel your energy with when you feel inspired, you feel motivated. But what would you say you're most passionate about?
I think that I'm most passionate about well, one is being a dad, right? Like, that is the most important job on the planet for me. And being a husband, right? Doing that very well. Like, that is very, very, very at the top of my list. And then after that comes all of these other things around the service of my community. So I'm most passionate about service, right? Because I think that when I exude or when I'm very passionate about service, then it'll come back, right? And I think because the world revolves in a very reciprocal way, right? So, but it's definitely personally, I'm most passionate about me being a father and a husband first. And then it's these community things that I'm kind of engaged in and doing on a daily basis. And I'm also passionate about teaching too. Like, I love Like that's how I get high, right? Like I absolutely love being in a space where I can like interact with people's minds and learn and help other people critically think and grow. Like that is, I feel like that's the gift that God gave me. Yeah.
How would you describe the role as a father? Because you said that's the most important thing to you.
It's hard. Like I don't know. Like the thing is that I was talking to my wife yesterday. I'm like, young, I don't know if I'm, being a parent, being a father. You like, you hope you're doing it right. Like you don't know, like you just out here like making decisions and hoping that it land right. You know what I'm saying? But your role as a father, man, it is the role. It is the quintessential responsibility, and not just to your own offspring, right? Like we are fathers, and we are mentors to every young person that we see in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Like they looking at us, they examining our moves, right? They examining whether or not like. What language you using, right? What foods we eating, right? Like what we putting in our bodies. They looking, right? And so it's just important that we serve as that role model.
For you, how does it make you feel when, we look at the news, we see the narratives about black men, but talking to you and being around you, clearly you don't fit those negative narratives. Like for you, how important is like being like nurturing? Because unfortunately, we're not looked at as nurturing black men.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to get to your first point first, right? Around this idea of like me not necessarily showing up in that way, right? I'm a flawed human being, right? So like, I'm not like, I would be remiss to say like, oh, Vic, you know what I'm saying? You're like, dog, I've made plenty of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I've done things that I've had to work through. Right, but on the other part, right, like us being nurturing human beings, a lot of times these ideas like emotion is subscribed to femininity, right? And so this idea of us being soft, right, to whoever it is, even to our own homies, right, is this idea of like when we are soft, we become like we soft, right, like we. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of men battle and struggle with this identity. They have this identity crisis around like, how masculine do I have to be at all times? And I'm a huge proponent. Like I say it all the time. Like I tell my brothers, I tell every man that is in my life, like every time they leave me and they greet me, I'm like, I love you. Like uncomfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that it's important that, one, that the young people see it, right? And then two, that we feel it, because we know we need the same things. Everything that we supposed to be providing, we also need. So men all want to be, humans are nurturing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so we fit into, sometimes we get into these ideas or like these identities that are just made up and based in some other stuff that I don't know if you want.
Did it take you a while to get comfortable with that because of the stereotypes and all that stuff?
Yeah. And what has helped me through it a lot is therapy, right? I'm still in therapy. I've been in therapy for close to 10 years now. Like, wow. Yeah, that's important. That's an important thing for us to learn our own minds, while at the same time reading a lot of books and understanding like how we've come to this particular point in this aspect of in our masculine journey, right? So,
therapy, was it something that happened that pushed you to therapy, or was just you recognizing, maybe because of the way life is going?
Oh yeah, wanting to be a better person and knowing that is a reason why it's like it's part of our insurance. Like most people who have insurance, like you can go to therapy. It's a reason why, right? And I think a lot of times we get lost and be thinking like it's for people who are crazy or people who have some like psychological trauma, right? But at the same time, it's just like this idea like, nah, bro, just use the therapy. I always liken it. I use it into this idea like most people when they're frustrated or upset, they talk to their friends. They call their friends and they want to like talk through a particular situation, right? They call their homies like, oh man, what happened, man, bro, woo, right? And your friend is on the other line, like listening, being a friend, but they don't know what to tell you. Like they just being a friend. A therapist is a friend who knows what's going on in your brain.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing for me.
Now, because do you think we're doing a better job of promoting therapy?
Oh yeah, young people are doing that.
Okay.
Young people are pushing this idea of like mental wellness. It is young people leading that fight and leading that way, and I'm so proud of them for it. Yeah, definitely.
Does your therapist look like you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
but I've had therapists who don't. And it didn't necessarily. I tried, but it didn't go it ain't go too well. But I have a black woman therapist now. Yeah.
Okay. So your therapist does need to be black.
I found that my therapist is better for me and understands my experiences because she and my first therapist, he had particular experience and they were able to guide in that way. I felt that other therapists had a much more difficult time understanding the nuances of my reality. Yeah.
Did you ever find yourself getting frustrated in those sessions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's important that even if the person that looks like you, they might not be the best fit, right? So it's important that you give yourself the opportunity to explore and find the right person for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something that I saw on your page that I thought was amazing. You took you have two stores, one in Camp Springs and one right here in Brandywine. You took your employees. I don't know how many it was. How many you took them on a trip to? I forgot where
Jamaica.
Jamaica. How many was it?
I think it was 4 of them at that time. Yeah, 4. Yeah, my 4 managers. Yeah.
What was it? First of all, what gave you the idea to do that? Take your employees to Jamaica.
Well, we're going again in a few weeks. But the thing is that this, especially right now, this is my goal, right? So I guess I tell the world, right? The goal is for me to build the stores, for them to make a sizable income. When I'm talking about sizable, I'm talking about like 6 figures, right? And for them to be able to just fully enjoy their lives. Until I get to that point, right? It's important that they understand value, right? So what better way, right, for us to celebrate, right, the work that you put in every single day when you come to the store, serving people, treating them right, than to take them somewhere they've never been, right? None of them ever been out the country before, right? So not only just taking them to Jamaica, it was also like taking them through the process of getting their passports, right? Most of them, it was their first time riding on an airplane, right? Like experiencing that idea of like being in the airport and getting on the airplane, right? Like, so it is bigger than just going to Jamaica. It was like the process and them seeing that like, the world is much bigger. Like, it's a lot of stuff out here. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to do what I'm doing. And so they had a great time, man. They had a great time, enjoyed themselves. And they was extremely grateful. Because for me, I don't need, and this is important too, this is a very important point. Spizzy does not make an extreme, like I'm not like, oh, money rolling over in the dough. Like a lot of people have misconceptions around like when someone opens up a business, they think, oh, you have 2 stores? Oh, you must be like, you know what I'm saying? Like you must have so much money, right? It's not that. The thing for me has always been, how can the stores provide an opportunity for my community, right? And I will eat last. Like, I will eat last. So if Spizzy does an extremely good job and I'm able to like make a sizable amount of money from it, okay, yeah, celebration. If Spizzy is only able to get other young people 6-figure incomes, I'm happy.
When you first booked the trip, did you know you were providing them with some people with their first trip? Okay.
Yes.
So what did that do for you?
It is a good feeling to see a plan worked. That's my whole thing. It's a good feeling to see a plan through. And that's my whole thing. It's like, I mean, I seen it. We got on the beach and we was walking in the sand. We was about to walk on the sand and they still had their sneakers on. And I was like, bro, like, take your shoes off, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we walking in the sand, like, take your shoes off. Like, those type of things, and you know what I mean? And to see them wake up to the sunrise on the water in another country, and like the way in which they was being served, right? Like, and to be amongst it, because we are in Jamaica, right? So them to see other black people who look just like them, and they can understand all of these different nuances. We can have conversations around the historical understanding of like what's happening and why they see the things they see. So for me, man, it just felt good to be able, for Spizzy to be able to make enough money to celebrate the people in that way. And the biggest thing, and also another thing I want to say is that I'm trying to expose capitalism all at the same, like on the back end, I'm trying to expose capitalism because people are like, oh man, you took your staff to Jamaica, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, why don't we see other companies doing this? Right? Like we all work for these Fortune 500 companies, all of this money, like they got money out, like, and they not doing nothing for their people. You know what I'm saying? So also the other side is me trying to show people that my little old smoothie shops can do it with my staff. You multi-billion-dollar corporations and million-dollar corporations can do it with yours.
You talked about traveling, like getting outside, because let's be honest, I grew up in Capitol Heights. You grew up in District Heights, right? Forestville. And unfortunately, a lot of us, I know I didn't get a chance to leave my community. Like, I didn't really get a chance to see the world until I grew up as a man. So, what kind of influence you think that has to not only travel, but to do it early?
I think inspiration, you know what I'm saying? I think, if nothing else, it's inspiration, but I also understand that some people, like, you know, might not necessarily enjoy traveling. It might be sitting in the house or enjoying your home or enjoying air conditioning or heat, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it might be. But for me, traveling is an essential part of me and my identity and understanding the world, right? So I try to travel a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been to Africa a few times, you know what I mean? I've been to a bunch of different places in the Caribbean, like a bunch of different places in the States, right? But I've traveled a few places. And the reason why is because it helps me, and I'm speaking for myself, understand another perspective on like how the world comes to be, right? But some people, you know, I'm also a nerd, right? So some people will be like, come on, big, you know what I mean? It doesn't hit them the same way, but I think traveling exposes you to outside of your particular neighborhood, and it also can expose you to like, I can really travel to this country and live here and work here. Like, I can do that if I want to. And that's the biggest thing that I want people to, like, if I can expose them to anything, is that. And also, just to enjoy life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we're not made to just work. Like, we're not made to just, you know what I mean? We got to enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? So that's big for me, too.
You mentioned living somewhere else, would you? Would you live somewhere?
Heck yeah. Yes. The plan is in motion, brother. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. If you, man, shoot. Yeah, definitely.
Is it any particular spots that's like high on the list?
Hey, listen, man. So Egypt was pretty dope and pretty inexpensive. I just came back from Hawaii, but that joint, it's beautiful, but the landscape is amazing. But bro, I paid like $7.50 for a bag of Doritos. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. No. But the Caribbean is dope. South America is dope. I mean, I like a lot of places, man. Yeah, so who knows? Wow, man.
Before we started recording, you mentioned you wanted to expand like some of the things you were doing in Spizzy, date night, like game nights and stuff. I just want you to elaborate more on that. Yeah. So the plan, like in the wintertime, smooth, like people, I think it's false. Like people feel like smoothies is not like a wintertime treat, but it is. Like it is. Like I always say, like people drink coffee in the summer. Right, like it's the same thing, right? So I'm trying to introduce that to people. So I'm gonna have a lot of different things inside the store, like game nights for like couples, live instrumentation, poetry. You see, I got a stage in here, so I'm just trying to do a number of different things to invite people into the space. On the wintertime, you know, people just be cramped up in the house. You know what I'm saying? That to enjoy each other, especially the pandemic over too, to some degree, right? Mostly. So people are a little bit more comfortable interacting with one another in the same space. Yeah. How your hours are really for your smoothie shop, they're really tight.
Yeah.
Which is good because I mean I don't think you need to be open all day.
Yeah.
So how did you arrive at the hours you said?
Yeah, so market research, and also like the pandemic helped to inform the hours too. But I realized it was a certain time when I was open a little bit longer, and I was looking at my numbers and versus the cost of employees, and I was like, okay. In addition to that, I'm real big on the people. I'm real big on having a small team.
Okay.
Larger team mean larger headaches, right? And also, I want the people that work with Spizzy to like enjoy their life, man. I don't want them in this junk till like 8, 9 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, you got to enjoy your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, go home, like enjoy yourself, man. You know what I mean? Chill, put your feet up. You know what I mean? Like, work a solid day, and then be able to go home and enjoy yourself. So that's important for me too, man. Like, and again, I keep like, it's not money for me. Like, I'm not about like making the most money because it doesn't matter to me. It just doesn't. Like, I'm blessed to have a very, to have a decent career outside of Spizzy, right? So the Spizzy is about the young people.
It's just I don't even know the term. I don't want to say weird, but it's very different to hear a man who opened a shop because, I mean, let's be honest, when we go into business, it's to make money. But talking to you, I mean, of course you want to make money, but that's not your motivation. Like,
exactly.
Your motivation is to actually be an asset to the community. So that's really different to hear.
Exactly. That is the best way to say it. Like, that is because I am not. Everybody keeps saying this and keep telling me like, "Oh, Vic, I am not a capitalist. Mm-hmm. I do not believe in the idea that one person should own the resources and take all of the resources and then leave people with bare minimum. I do not subscribe to that. I do not believe in that. That is not what I stand for. And so for me, it is being intelligent about how I use the money and how I use it to make more money, right, for people. But nah, bro, you can keep that. Like, it just doesn't move me, man. Like, so for example, I've had, of course, I'm from Forestville, right? So I've been times when my account has been $30, right? Mm-hmm. $5, you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's been times when my account has seen triple digits, right? Like, and I didn't feel more or less of victorious. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I got this money, let me go buy chains and cars. Like, it don't do nothing for me, you know what I'm saying? That's how I opened the second store. Like, I was like, there was money in my bank account. I knew what the mission was. It was money in the bank account from the first store. I knew what the mission was for me, and it's to provide as much opportunity as possible to young people. And I was like, why is this money just sitting in my bank account? What is it doing for me? Nothing. Mm-hmm. Let me open up another store so I can extend the opportunity.
When you walk into your stores, you got the Camp Springs location and you got the Brandywine location. How do you feel when you walk into an establishment that you created?
Bruh, and that's a feeling. Like, I still haven't gotten over that. That is because it's in your head, right? So to have something that's up here and then like I can sit in it, like, bro, that's different. Like, it is a feeling that I hope that everybody gets to experience. It is like it's like, it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming at times, man. Like yesterday, I worked in both of my stores. Like, I was in Camp Springs for a second, working serving customers, and I came in here, like, serving. I was like, yo, like, man, this is tight. You know what I'm saying? It's a hell of an experience, and I hope people are able to feel it when there's something in their head and then it comes into fruition. I
want to close with this. What are you looking to do next with Spizzy? Where are you trying to take it?
My initial goal was to open up 5 stores in 5 years.
Wow.
That was my initial goal. It might be altering a little bit. I just got my mobile trailer, so now I'm able to like sell smoothies mobile, like on a mobile, you know what I'm saying, around the area. So I'm going to use that as doing more catering opportunities to meet new people and expose them to the product. But we'll see, because I listen to my team, right? I listen to the team that I'm a part of. I listen to my gut. I listen to my soul. So, you know, if things need to shift and adjust, man, the biggest thing, man, is that I just want people to keep having a good experience at the store.
When are you looking at? You said you had a mobile already.
Yeah.
When will it be operational?
Oh, I'm selling now. I'm in the streets.
Oh, okay. Like where?
I be everywhere, man. Like this weekend we at the Philly Bike Expo in Philadelphia. I'm at the convention center selling.
Oh, okay.
And then I be all throughout Prince George's County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. I want to thank you for taking the time to do this, opening your shop up early in the morning,
for sure.
so we could do this. And also, man, let me say congratulations.
Thank you.
Because you know, we went to Suitland together, but
Yeah.
I came out of there first, and you came after me, and your brother also came after me. So, like, just me being able to be in your establishment, look around, black man to black man, I'm proud of what you're doing, man, and I hope and pray that you keep it going.
I received that, man, and I appreciate that for real. Like, I fully received that, and I appreciate it, bro.
Definitely. Before we end, please tell the people how they can follow you, how they can support you, and the locations for the store.
Drink Spizzy. Everything is at Drink Spizzy. So drinkspizzy.com, at Drink Spizzy, Spizzy. Allentown Way is 5830 Allentown Way. That's in Camp Springs, Maryland, and this is 15902 Suite D. Crane Highway in Brandywine. But if you just follow us online, IG is how we communicate, so you can follow us online at Drink Spizzy. We look forward to serving you soon.
Again, thank you for doing this, and I wish you all the best, and thank you for opening up the shop for me.
My man.
All right. I want to take the time to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. I truly appreciate your support. You can follow me on Instagram at conversations_with_Lamp. My Facebook is also Conversations with Lamp. You can listen to the podcast on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. Again, thank you all for listening. Have a great day.